Lawmakers and decorated service members on the attack, criticizing President Trump's decision to pull troops from Syria.
The president is pushing back and boasting about a ceasefire agreement. KCAL 9's Jeff Nguyen is here with the latest on the conflict at the Turkish-Syrian border. Jeff?
And guys, tonight Defense Secretary Mark Esper says that U.S. troops will continue to withdraw from northern Syria. This as President Trump comes under fire from fellow Republicans and former military leaders. And that's because fighting has picked up less than 24 hours into a U.S. brokered ceasefire. Despite a temporary ceasefire taking effect today, fighting between Turkish and Kurdish forces did not ease up. Yet President Trump touted the U.S. brokered agreement in northern Syria.
There was some sniper fire this morning. There was mortar fire this morning that was eliminated quickly. And they're back to the full pause.
Salı akşamına kadar.
Turkey's president warned his military would go back on the attack if Kurdish forces don't withdraw from a so-called 20-mile safe zone within 5 days. The ceasefire came too late for these Kurdish children. We have blurred out their injuries because the images are too graphic. A chemical weapons expert told CBS News the horrific burns suggest the use of a banned substance called white phosphorus. The U.S. Defense Secretary said no U.S. troops are taking part in the safe zone and will continue to withdraw as planned from northeast Syria. There had been no indication of a pullout of Kurdish forces, and commanders tell CBS News they will continue to defend their territory.
We've had tremendous success, I think, over the last couple of days. A little bit unconventional, a little bit of hard love, but the Kurds are very happy about it. President Erdogan in Turkey is satisfied with it.
Republican Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell is among the critics of the president's pullback. So is Senator Mitt Romney.
Are we so weak and so inept diplomatically that Turkey forced the hand of the United States of America?
I'd earned my spurs on the battlefield, Martin, as you pointed out, and Donald Trump earned his spurs in a letter from a doctor.
And the criticism of the president continued with former Defense Secretary James Mattis. He roasted his old boss one day after the commander-in-chief called Mattis the most overrated general.
I'm honored to be considered that by Donald Trump because he also called Meryl Streep an overrated actress. So I guess I'm the Meryl Streep of generals.
The president used to brag about the number of generals he once had in his cabinet, but they've all left his administration.
Sometimes you have to let them fight a little while.
The U.S. troop withdrawal from Syria has led to several top former military commanders to openly criticize Mr. Trump. Retired Admiral William McRaven oversaw the killing of Osama bin Laden and the capture of Saddam Hussein. He said the republic is under attack from the president and added, if our promises are meaningless, how will our allies ever trust us? Adding, if we are not the champions of the good and the right, then who will follow us? And former Navy Admiral Sandy Winnefeld, who served under President Obama, said McRaven perceives Mr. Trump's decision in the Middle East as a threat to the nation.
I do think it's possible that the situation in Syria, where some of the people he served with are deeply embedded into that problem, might have pushed him over the line to write the op-ed that he wrote.
Earlier today, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo addressed NATO leaders on the ceasefire.
There was some activity today, but we also saw some very positive activity, the beginnings of the coordination that will be required. The reason this couldn't happen instantaneously is there was a great deal of coordination that had to take place so that there can, in fact, be a safe withdrawal.
Today, the president of Turkey denied the use of chemical weapons, but the United Nations said that an investigation is already underway, while Amnesty International says that it has compiled damning evidence of war crimes committed by Turkish forces and its militias. Juan?
Jeff, thank you.